Hi Queen, it's Melisi Knox Brunson of thequeencode.com, and my message for you today is just say no to drugs. You know, it's one of the greatest universal truths that the way up is down. The way up is down. And Queen, what that means is, you know, we have a greater destiny and we want to rise. We want to ascend to the throne. We want to elevate. And that's what we're called to do. But in order to do that, we have to go deep. And I shared with you several weeks ago the whole process of growing down, that is really the right order to do things because we're anchored, we're secured. And so in order to really become the queens that we're called to be, and in order to rise and reign, we have to go deep. And the problem with going deep, because it seems so easy, right? To go up, you have to go down. The problem with going deep is that inside that place, there's a lot of things we've buried there. There's a lot of fears there. There's a lot of resentment, a lot of hurt, a lot of pain. And when we begin to really peel back those layers and go very deep within ourselves, we're going to come face to face with all of that. And we have to. It all needs to be addressed. But it's not an easy process. It can be a very painful process. And for that reason, so many of us choose to run. We choose to run to things like overindulgences like food and sex and shopping. All of these things become our drug of choice in order to numb out that pain. There's even this new epidemic with people running to prescription medications like Xanax, and all they're doing is numbing the pain of what's beneath us. And it's really important to really go through that, Queen, because on this path of returning to our throne, this is a path of higher and higher levels of consciousness. And consciousness is about awareness and awakeness. It's about uncovering who we are. It's the process of becoming. And when we're on that path, Queen, we can't be numb to how we feel. We can't be asleep, Queen, on that path. We have to stay awake and we have to stay vigilant. You know, one of my favorite stories of all time is The Wonderful Wizard of Oz. And if you've ever read the book or seen the movie adaptations, there's the classic one that comes on around this time, Christmas time. And then there's one of my favorites, The Wiz. That's the one where Michael Jackson is the Scarecrow and Diana Ross is Dorothy. Whichever adaptation you've seen, this is a very, very powerful story. And lots of times it's kind of pushed under the rug as like a lullaby, fairy tale. But this is a very powerful and deep story when you look at it from a metaphysical perspective. You have Dorothy, this young girl from Kansas, right? And she wants more. She knows there's more. And then she has this experience where she finds herself in Munchkinland, and from the point of Munchkinland to the point of the Emerald City, she has to take a journey. And she has to take that journey by following the yellow brick road. Now it's interesting because this is a road paved with gold, and gold is all about self-awareness and self-realization and higher levels of consciousness. So she's on this path to self-realization, understanding who she is. And with every step she takes on that path, she finds out more about herself, but she also gets what she needs when she needs it. And then she meets some friends along the way, right? So, you know, in the story, she gets to this point. She and her crew, they get to a point where they have been traveling on this path for a while. And they finally look up and they see the Emerald City off in the distance. And of course, they get excited because they have come through things, met each other, bonded, went through all of the tricks of the wicked witch of the West. They've gone through all of that, and they look up and they see the Emerald City off in the distance, and they get excited. But from where they are on the path to the Emerald City, there's something between them. There's a poppy field. Now, the problem with the poppy field, because if you've ever seen a poppy plant, they're enchanting. They're very beautiful. As a matter of fact, it looks like they have little crowns depending on, which poppy. They're beautiful plants. But the problem with the poppies is that they've been poisoned by the Wicked Witch of the West. She doesn't want Dorothy to get to the Emerald City. She doesn't want Dorothy to get to where she belongs. And so she poisons the poppies. So off Dorothy and her friends go through the poppy field. They're running, they're excited, they can see the Emerald City is so close they can reach out and touch it. But somewhere near in the inside of the field, Dorothy allows the poison to penetrate her. And instead of going through, she says, oh, I'm tired. Something's not right. I'm tired. I just want to sit right here, lay right here and rest. And her friends are like, no, let's keep going. She's like, no, I just want to rest. And so what happens is her friends cry out for help. And Glinda the Good Witch sends snow, and the snow neutralizes the poison. Dorothy awakes, and off they go to the Emerald City. Now I want to stop here for a second, Queen, because this part in the movie, it really has great implications for you and I as we're on this path of self-discovery, uncovering who we are, uncovering our royal inheritance, understanding who we are at our highest. And so many times when we're on this path, we've been traveling for a long time. We've been the ups and downs and the highs and the lows, and we've gotten what we've needed. We get to a point where we see ourselves, the bigger version of us, off right in the distance, so close we can reach out and touch it. We know that there's something more we're supposed to be doing, and we want that throne so bad. We want to be in our seat of power. And it's so close that we can reach out and touch it. But before we can get there, we have to go through something that has that threatens to stop us. And in our lives, our egos sometimes can be like the Wicked Witch of the West. The ego is something that doesn't want you to expand. It likes to keep you the same. It doesn't like change. But to uncover who you are, you have to change and expand and grow. So sometimes when we're going through this process and we're on this path and we come across those deep moments, sometimes instead of going through like we should, when we get to that point where we're in pain and we're resenting, sometimes instead of going through that pain, we stop on the path. We find ways to numb ourselves, and eventually we're asleep. We're right at the threshold of what we really want, but we're asleep on the path. You know, one of my mentors, Fabienne Fredrickson, she said something very simple, but it was profound, and it always stayed with me. She said, be willing to feel what you haven't wanted to feel until the ego retreats. That's the most direct path to your quantum leap. Be willing to feel what you haven't wanted to feel until the ego retreats. That's the most direct path to your quantum leap. You know, again, when we're on this path, there's so many different things that are going to come up in our way, so many different pains we're reminded of, but we can't allow the poison from those pains to penetrate us. We have to stay vigilant and know that on the other side of that is the salvation that we want. The universal law of polarity is one of my favorite universal laws because it says that everything in the universe has an equal opposite. So in other words, if you have a problem, there automatically has to be a solution. A problem can't exist without a solution. If you have a big problem, then there's a big solution. And in this instance, Queen, when we go deep because we want to go high, when we go deep and we feel those pains and we want to anesthetize ourselves, we want to numb ourselves to that pain, we have to understand that exactly where it hurts is also the place where we can be healed. Exactly where that pain is also the place where the salvation is. But you have to go through. You have to go through that, Queen. And just like Dorothy, you know, it's important to have some key elements. Like, it's important to have friends who are conscious and awake so that when you fall asleep, they can wake you up. And it's also important, Queen, to cry out for help when you need it. You cannot become yourself by yourself, Queen. It's okay to get help. When you begin to go deep within yourself, you may be addressing some things that it might be a good idea to get some professional help, some counseling. It might be a good idea to do that, Queen, because maybe it's so deep that you need that kind of help. There's no need to be embarrassed about that. This is your path, and you're trying to get to your throne. So, Queen, what I'm saying to you is we have to be willing to feel on this journey what we don't want to feel sometimes. And instead of stopping and grabbing that chocolate cake and eating the whole thing, or calling up that toxic relationship of that man that you know really doesn't have any interest in you, but you want to numb the pain with sex, or you want to go shopping and max out your credit cards to hide from that pain. Don't do that. Leave it open. Be willing to feel that. Go through that, because on the other side is your salvation. Now, in the movie, it's interesting because once they get out of the poppy field, there's this little sing song. It's almost like birds are just chirping and singing. Da, 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 da. Okay, I'm not going to do it. But you know, it's you get the point. There's like these little birds just chirping and singing, and I always wondered, what are they really saying? And so I Googled it, and I want to share it with you because it's actually very powerful. So as Dorothy and her friends come out of the poppy field, they've gone through now, okay? They're back on the path, all right? As they come out, there's little birds chirping. You're out of the woods. You're out of the dark. You're out of the night. Step into the sun. Step into the light. Keep straight ahead for the most glorious place on the face of the earth or the sky. Hold on to your breath. Hold on to your heart. Hold on to your hope. March up to the gate and bid it open. So as they step out of the poppy field, and they're on their way back to the Emerald City, there's a song of hope and rejuvenation. You're out of the woods. You're out of the dark. You're out of the night. Step into the sun. Step into the light. And it ends with march up to the gate now and bid it open. And in this context, Queen, the word bid doesn't mean to negotiate. It means to command. And Queen, as we go deep, and we don't stop at the point of the pain, but we go through that, there's a certain authority and power, Queen, that's on the other side of that, where we are able to walk up to any gate or any door and command that it be open. We have that kind of authority and power, but it's deep within us. So, Queen, what I'm saying to you is be willing to feel. Don't anesthetize. Don't get to the point where you've numbed yourself so much that the queen within you is in a catatonic state. I'm talking in a coma. She's there, but she's unrealized. Don't get to the point where you numb yourself so much till you get to that state. This is a path of greater consciousness. This is a path of self-realization. This is a path of you uncovering and discovering who you are. And you have to stay awake and vigilant on this path. So, Queen, just say no to drugs, okay? That's my message for you today. In the meantime, I do have a wonderful gift for you. If you go to my site at www.thequeencode.com, you can download your free audio, Queen, You Were Born to Succeed, because you absolutely were. And in this audio, you're going to discover which queen type you are, and you're also going to get the blueprint for how you can step into your power and stay on the path in finishing 2012 strong, but also in 2013 and beyond, Queen. These are fundamentals. They do not change, okay? So go to www.thequeencode.com and claim your free audio, and I'll talk to you soon.